Greek alphabet. And so the idea is that if he's the Alpha and Omega, then he's everything in between. It's a way of saying he's everything. And so obviously the Greek text says Alpha and Omega, and that's how they translate it, which is legit. And then the Revelation goes on to say he's the first and the last. Okay? Which means everything in between. Now, there are those who then think that because we have in Hebrew the Aleph and the Tav at different places throughout the text, and it's all over the text, that this is the equivalent of the Alpha and Omega. I don't think that that's the case. For instance, we have in the first verse of the Bible, it reads, Reshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz. So et is the direct object marker. It's untranslated because it points to what is the object of the creation, the object of the verb. In poetry, it almost goes away completely. It's only primarily in prose that you have the direct object marker. Now, the same Aleph and Tav can, pointed differently by the Masoretes, be the prepositional phrase with. If it has a sere or a segol, it's the direct object marker. If it has a hirik underneath the Aleph, it's the preposition, in the way that the Masoretes pointed it. So it's either a preposition or a direct object marker, grammatical marker. There are those on the internet that are making claims that, well, we have this Aleph and Tav all throughout the text, and this is kind of this code for the Alpha and Omega, because Aleph is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and Tav is the last letter of the alphabet. So it's the equivalent of the Alpha and Omega, and therefore, it's God's secret little code that he's putting all over the place in the Hebrew text. I don't think that's the case. I think it's a direct object marker. I think it's a grammatical marker. I know that they're making a big thing of it now, and it's becoming a bigger thing. They're saying, look, all over the place there's this Aleph and Tav, Aleph and Tav, Aleph and Tav. That's because you have direct objects all over the place. And so it's left untranslated because it's an object marker. So this is the object of the action of the verb. Unless it's a preposition, in which case then you translate it with. But they're saying, well, I mean, if you go and look at this, we have et all over the place in the text. And they're true, that's true. That's because we have direct objects all over the place. So it's not really this, it's not some secret coding thing that God's doing where he's secretly putting this Aleph Tav everywhere to say, that's me, that's me, that's me, that's me.
He already says it's me.
He already says it's me without the Aleph and the Tav. There's a lot of Messianic teachers and others who are saying, well, this is... And what this does, unfortunately, is that it messes with the credibility of the Messianic movement, because then grammarians look at this and go, it's not some secret coding that's scattered everywhere, it's just grammar. It's like a period or a question mark. It's not a grammatical marker, it's not some secret encoding. Okay? So just putting that out there because there's a lot of stuff on the internet now, it's heard recently, saying this kind of stuff. And it's been around for a while. I mean, it's been around for quite a while.
But it does take your eye off the ball.
It does.
They have whole translations of the Bible based on that.
Yeah.
All the top scriptures.
Yeah, they have all the top scriptures now. So it's a secret, you know. The thing is, it's at times it's a preposition. It's a preposition with. Again, that's if it's pointed, the Masoretes pointed with the hirik, then they think it's a preposition. And when it's a preposition, it can have, or when it's a direct object marker, it can have a pronominal ending on it. It can actually have a pronoun ending placed on it. So then you have to say, well, how can you have an Aleph Tav with a personal pronoun ending? So that's why you get into trouble when you start trying to stretch that and press that. So it becomes problematic. My personal view is that when God wants to make himself known, he makes himself known. He makes it pretty clear. And he says, that's me. You know, he doesn't, I don't think he's manipulating behind the scenes. I think he's pretty out front. All right, middle page 64.